Alright, so, hello everyone. Welcome back to Planescape Torment. Let us resume life. And we're gonna go to the brothel. I'm not kidding, that's apparently where we need to go next, and I'm just gonna follow whatever it starts throwing my way. So apparently there's a possibility of fighting quests, but there's also a possibility of finding the main quest we're
Done.
supposed to be following. We're just gonna walk on in and see what happens.
Done.
Fall from Grace. Before you is a stunning golden-haired woman dressed in a azure and violet dress with two long, elegant wings draped across her shoulders. She's surveying the room with a slight smile. She's easily the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Hello.
Well met, traveler. How may I help you?
Who are you?
Updated my journal.
I'm called Fall from Grace. She studies you for a moment. You are new to Sigil, are you not? No, I suspect I've been here for quite some time, actually. Fall from Grace raises his eyebrow. Indeed. Yes, but that's a tale, that's a long tale, perhaps longer than I know. I'm more interested in what this place is. This is the brothel of slating intellectual lusts. She studies you for a moment. I take it by your question that you did not intend to partake in this establishment? What kind of brothel is this? I established this brothel to give those lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression rather than simply carnal. Much more pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging in verbal arts with others. Sounds dull. I assure you it's not. Tour the brothel, see for yourselves. So I have to ask, why did you establish such a place? She raises an eyebrow. That is an odd question, she frowns. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that, at least directly. So, why did you? Partly answer your question requires that you know that I am a member of the Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much as the multiverse as possible. And that is why you established this place? This brothel is intended to state the lusts of even the hardened intellectual. It is designed to stimulate the mind, to heighten one's awareness of themselves and others, to create new ways of experiencing another person. It is for those who seek something more than the shallow physical pleasures that fill the hive in the lower wards. I see. So this establishment encourages intellectual fencing rather than the other kind of fencing. The women here must be special indeed. Um. Or I could go with the other option of asking more questions or farewell. Let's go with the first option. The women here are aspiring sensates. They have come to me in search of instruction to prepare themselves to enter the faction. Also, many of them have a natural grasp of language that can shatter the crust of the most hardened individual. I see, so the ladies here are ladies in training, so to speak. Yes, I hope that by learning the art of language and the subtleties that the patrons and the students here may learn some more about themselves. One is only as limited as their command of the language. To be able to employ language to evoke emotion in others is a tremendous skill. I see. Can I ask you some other questions? Yes. Who are you again? Those wings, what are you? What is this place? I came here for help. Perhaps you can help me. I came here, can you tell me the sense sites? 4. Okay, for her. I came here looking for help. Perhaps you can help me. Help? What kind of help were you looking for? I seem to have lost my memories, and in doing so, I've lost myself. You have been stricken with amnesia. Falfren Grace looks pain. How terrible. Do you have any idea how it happened? Not really, at least not that I can remember. I woke up on a slab in the mortuary and everything before that is black. You woke in the mortuary? I think the Miss Dustman mistook me for being dead, or I was dead, or something. All I know is that I regenerate wounds quickly. I could be immortal, but I don't even know if that's for sure. Alpha Grace seems to be praising you with a renewed interest. Those scars on your body, she reaches out a hand to touch you. May I? Sure. Falfagrace drags her fingers across your chest slightly, tracing the edges of scars and following the curves where they've been to some of your tattoos. She then seems scars following the curves where they blend into something that's your tattoos. She then seems fascinated. These scars do look as if they would have taken several lifetimes to accumulate. They certainly do, though some are more recent. Elfin Grace steps back. Some of those wounds would have been fatal to a normal man. She taps her chin, thinking, what do you intend to do now? I need to get my memories back and my life back. I intend to scour the plains and search inside myself until I can piece together who I am and what brought me to this state. I don't really know for the moment. I'm just searching for clues to who I am and what happened to me. Grace is still thinking, her finger tapping on her chin. I must say I've never met a man who lost himself in the literal sense. She raises an eyebrow. Forgive me, but your condition is intriguing. It is that. If it will help you, you are welcome to the brothel. Several of our students are well versed in verbal arts. Perhaps some of them will be able to rekindle your memories. I may do that. Can you ask some questions
Updated
first?
my journal.
Yes. Hmm. Would you like to join me on my travels? And as Stephenson starts muttering under her breath, who's to say she'll be coming with us? She doesn't need to like her, so's we don't. By that tiefling. March clicks his teeth together. I'm all for a succubus joining us. The powers know you're about as fun as. Ooh, Mort! You best latch your bone box skull already, so hard you'll be picking your teeth off the spire. Travel with you? Fall from Grace smiles slightly. She seems to be ignoring your companions. That's rather forward of you. You're a sensate. Surely there must be a limit to how much you can learn here. It's the way I am. I appreciate your candor. I shall counter with some of my own. Why should I travel with you? You mean you wouldn't be interested in traveling with an immortal amnesiac who is in search of the plains for himself? Well, I would be extremely excited, she smiles slightly. Such a suggestion is intriguing, make no mistake about that. Then you would like to travel with me then? You wish me to, then there is something you must know for me, must do for me. There are 10 students in this establishment. I would like for you to speak to all of them. Then return to me with your thoughts. Then we shall see if we can travel together or not. Very well, I can ask some other questions before I go. I'll speak with them then. I will return when I have spoken to all of them. Like you to speak to, there are 10 students in this establishment. I would like you to speak to all of them.
Updated my journal.
No questions today. Farewell. I will say that the music here is a lot less abrasive than the other place was. Morden? Might be one of the students. Well, first things first. Make sure you, no matter what, we don't have to repeat that again. Hello. Dark-haired, pale-skinned woman has a cultured, refined look about her. She turns to you. Note that her eyes, which had you previously thought to be gray, are a color of brushed steel. Hello. Woman's voice is soft, calm, with an inflection as has a certain faraway quality, as if somehow not attached to her. Greetings, I am called Delara. May I serve you somehow? In what ways can you serve? She blinks her eyes and touches her hand to her heart, bowing her head slightly. I'm able to debate any scholarly, academic matter quite proficiently. If that is your wish, I am also well versed in various games of strategy, should you wish to play something, though I have the materials for few such games here. Actually, could I ask you a few questions? Dara casts her eyes to the floor and the sound that might be a sad sigh. I'm willing to serve you as a patron, but I have no wish to answer other questions at this time. My apologies, but I fear I shall simply have to bear with that for the time being. What's wrong? Anything I can help you with?
Updated my journal.
She looks up from the floor into your eyes once more. You're struck by the pale smoothness of the skin, the cold depth of her silvery eyes. No, I fear not. My troubles are a matter of the heart, and in time I think all things will be resolved. You're certain there's nothing I can do? Certain. She pauses, thinking. No, I'm not. My first love, Merriman, possesses still the keys to my heart. So long as he has them, I shall be free to love another. This is cause of my melancholy. Why don't you seek him out? Speak with him. I may not leave this place. The reasons are deeply personal and not to be shared with strangers, even ones who might bestow a kindness upon me. But suffice to say, I cannot seek Marianne myself. Then I'll find this Merriman and speak with him on your behalf.
Updated my journal.
She nods in the slightest hint of smile appearing on her lips. She bows her head. Were you to find and speak with him, I would be most grateful. He is a member of the Society of Sensations, so you may wish to ask for him at the Civic Festival. I'll return when I find him. Farewell. The tiefling's nervous about bringing a succubus on board the group. Oh, why can't devils and demons get along? Questions? There was someone I was looking for here. Merman. Merman is usually pacing back and forth around the lecture halls. Travel through the middle door in the eastern wall and the door beyond that as well. You will likely be wandering within the hallway. You'll find him yourself. You'll find yourself in. Thanks, that's all I wish to know.
All right.
More senates. Yo, you're the guy. This man looks like a bitter, cantankerous old codger. His mouth is twisted in a frown and becomes even more severe as he notices you coming his way. Merriman, my name may be, but Mary I am not. Off of you, young one. No time for the likes of you. He goes into a fit of coughing from the exertion of shooing you away so loudly. Wait, Delora wanted me to speak with you. Herman's eyes look at you suspiciously. That's so. About what, eh? Well? She says you're her first lover and that so long as you hold the keys to her heart, she'll never be free to love another. She told you that, eh? I'm surprised. Perhaps leaving her under Mistress Grace's tutelage did what I couldn't. Start developing her feelings. In any case, he pats a pocket of his tunic. I don't just give the keys to you. I won't just give the keys to you. Wait, those are literally the keys to her heart? Apparently. What do you want for them then? I want to forget. I've lived almost 150 years now, and I've seen every sensory stone I've cared to in this grand hall. I have little time left to live, and I am too weak to go out in search of a wholly new experiences. So I need to find a way to forget them all. That way I can start again on my final days. So do I just wallop you in the back of the head or what? Oh, how can I help?
Updated my journal.
I'll need something, some item, some concoction that will allow me to forget, like the drought of the river Styx, something like that. Right, I'll turn if I find something. Farewell. The mages are practicing again. Let's get away before they get too obnoxious. You know what I think? I think we need to check another store.
All right.
Um... Oh. Well, that's bothersome. Just a moment. There we go. I'll look into that later. Uh... you can ask him for the keys if you haven't yet. He'll refuse and want you to give him something to erase his memory. In exchange for the keys, you'll have to use some ice shards from the dark birds of hearts of thus are. Walking around. He'll refuse and you'll give you something to erase his memory in exchange for the keys. You'll have to use some ice shards from the dark birds of Ocanthus. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm going to check the store.
I never saw such a big one in all me ball days.
Sounds like something really weird and funky. Let's go here. Actually. Okay. Okay, so we'll get to that eventually. I should probably go back and just talk to all the girls and get all of their side quests, actually. Because it sounds like a lot of them lead one to another into another.
Done.
That is assuming that it's all girls. I don't know. I think it might be, but I'm not sure.
Done.
Working on it. Vivian. This tall, elegant woman of her sharp features and regal demeanor is a striking example of aristocratic beauty. Her clothes appear to be spun of silver thread and a small file dangles from her necklace. She is perfumed with an exotic, erotic scent that seems to draw you towards her. Hello. She looks you over, arching an eyebrow with what you sense to be disdain. Greetings, my name is Vivian. Am I to presume I am being summoned? No, I just had some questions. She nods impetuously. Go on then. What are you doing here? Aside from my work as a student here, I am looking for something actually. You would not happen to have smelled it, would you? Smelled it? Yes, I have a particular scent that seems to have gone wandering. 'Tis somewhat difficult to keep in one place. Hope someone did not take it by accident, though you never know with the ladies around here. She frowns. So by any chance have you smelled it somewhere? How can a scent go wandering? She shakes her head. I had meant to infer that I had been taken. The ladies here are a bit jealous at times and have been known to take my various perfumes for themselves. This time, though, someone has absconded with my own personal scent. I worked on that scent, perfected it, and now poof, tis gone. I need not bear such annoyances. Vivian stomps her feet. I want that scent back and I want it now. How would you know if you found it? You would know it by the smell, I assure you. It is quite striking, especially to men. I can help you. Vivian seems dubious. Are you certain? I do not wish to impose. Oh, no imposition. I'm pleased to help the lovely ladies yourself.
Updated my journal.
Mumble something angrily, catch the words piking and it should stick. Vivian smiles and nods to you. You're too kind. Very well. I will. If you run across it, please let me know. I'm somewhat anxious to get back. A one-of-a-kind scent, really. I'll take my leave. Farewell. I get the feeling we're going to need to talk to Anna after all this. She sounds like she needs consoling back there. Two out of 10. Oh, this door's open. Don't come back, you pitiful excuse of a man. Wow. Hello, ma'am. A well-looking tiefling girl meets your gaze with an angry scowl. Her tattooed body is particularly naked, covered only by a narrow leather thong, a black cloth brazier, and armored shoulder pads that appear to serve more as decoration rather than actual protection. Her spiked hair, as well as the thin thread that covers her goat-like legs, is brassy white, and numerous silver Rings dangle from her ears, nostrils, lips, and brows. She wears a leather collar around her throat with the inscription Kamaxi at her tongue. Hello? Kamaxi bares her teeth at you. And just what are you looking at, you banged up sod? My friend thought you were attractive, but whoa, was he ever horribly mistaken. She sneers at Morton, looks below him, where the body normally would be. Shut tongue for a stemless deader. Okay, that's enough, you two. Sure, Chief, whatever. What a witch hunt, huh? Mort humps, then wiggles his eyebrows. I like that. I'm sure you do, Mort, but I need to talk to her. The tiefling rolls her eyes, and what makes you think I care? What do you? Why don't you lick my backside? My tongue is not wide enough, and I would don't like hair in my mouth. Ooh, I could get nasty. Well, you seem like the taste of awful in your mouth, you tongue-breathing cretin. Oh, jeez. Only because it's like kissing you, you mangy stink pot. Kiss me, she makes a retracting sound. I'd rather kiss a massive Plagum than any of my lips on you. No thanks. Don't thank me. Thank the powers. Someone actually wants to kiss you. Next, he looks lost for something to say. For an instant, a smile threatens to crack the grimacing mask on her face. Then she becomes more of a basilisk than ever. All right, what do you want of me? Questions answered. She looks annoyed. Fine, whatever. Ask. Stumped ya. Who are you? My name uninterested. I can guess yours though. Scarbunch. Get out of here before I put the fire under your arse. I have other questions. What are you doing here? Not you, that's for certain. She smirks at you. I'm contemplating the best way to tell you to pike off next. I have other questions. Say, can you teach some of the more here to be more abusive? She raises her eyebrows. Now that's an unusual request. I don't know that it seems pretty foul-mouthed already. That's a he. Seems pretty foul-mouthed. Messy blob. Makes you blathering, you scruffy goat and harlot. Wow! You wish you had legs like mine, you pitiful wretch of a bone box. I can walk, run, dance. What can you do? Bob around, whistling, wishing your head had a pair? Goats or otherwise, the two of them lay into each other, exchanging barbed, blistering insults and crashing with razor-edged tongues. Wait for it to end. At last, the two stop their bickering, and eerie silence settles over them as they eye one another hatefully. Finally, the tiefling makes a grudging admission to Mort. But not bad, really, not bad at all. Better than you, perhaps? Mort waggles his eyebrows at her. She narrows her eyes at Mort and don't push its skull.
New taunts, all right.
I won't, Tiefling. I admit I might have learned a thing or two, though. Good thinking, Chief. Sure thing, Mort. Kamaxi turns to you. So what's, is that all you wanted? I'm not spending any more time near you than I have to. Had some questions. What are you doing here? Never mind then, farewell. That's 3 out of the 10. Such a young woman has a faraway look in her soft green, sea green eyes. Hello. Greetings, I am Yevis, the tail chaser. A coincidence, I too chase tails. She continues uninterrupted. Have you come to trade tails? I'd like to trade tails. She nods. I would like that very much, yes. Tell the story of your waking up in the mortuary. Yves leans forward as you tell the tale of your awakening in the Dustman's mortuary. She seems to devour every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale. I too will tell the tale of the Dustman. Chapters of Dust.
A_B_4001. Hello.
Hello. Go on. There are chapters of the Dead Book, the massive tome which the Dustmen keep that records the passage of all who live in the eternal boundary. In this book there are chapters that are not but dust, and in it is believed to be the names therein are lost souls who cannot die, but must suffer life eternally until history itself dies and grants them release.
A_B_4001. Mion. A_B_4001. 1.
Actually, I was gonna pick one. Tale to share with you. The story of the Alley of Lingering Sighs. She leans forward as you tell the tale of the alley giving birth. She sees seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I shall remember this tale, and now I have one for you. Before I begin, I must ask, do you know what a Mordron is? No. Mordrons are creatures of total law, almost more machinery than living things. They are many different sorts of Mordron, but all have their place in a very rigid, carefully organized hierarchy. So dedicated are they to this system that they cannot communicate with or even consider the existence of Mordrons who are not their immediate superiors or inferiors. Alright. Then I shall tell you of the clock and the quadrone. Go on. Once upon a time there existed a Modron. It was newly created, its logic fresh and untested, and it had become to sigil, following the commands of its Modron superiors. It knew nothing but commands and dictates of obedience, then passing along the orders of its superiors. For you see, Modrons are only aware of the commands of their immediate superiors. They have no grasp of higher authority until this one. Go on. One day it came upon a small shop within which there was a small clock that could no longer tell time. It was cracked, and along the edges, the wheels of its hands broken. The Modron immediately set itself to work at getting the parts to fix the broken clock. It made a new wooden housing for the clock's parts, replaced bent springs, carefully filled and oiled the clock's machinery, and carved new hands from the sparse metal available to it. The newly repaired clock's pieces ticking reminded of the great gears of Mechanus, and it confirmed it as much as anything it comforted as much as anything may comfort a Modron. And what the Modron never came to understand was that it truly loved this clock, and that it had worked on, and for reasons it could not explain, elected to remain in sigil to be with the clock for the rest of its years. Interesting. I have another tale to share. The story of Reekwind's curse. She listens closely to the tale of Reekwind's Odoriferous curse. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles. I shall remember this tale, and now one for you. The Gilded Tale. Go on. Upon the plain of Ysgard, the Gilded Hall, where those sensates that seek the pleasure of gullet and loin can be found, they indulge in these passions in earnest, never realizing that the doors of the hall ever open, that there is no clear path back to the civic fest hall. They are the unwanted sensates, the ones that do not truly believe in the faction, but instead seek only pleasure for pleasure's sake. Prisoners who do not realize they are such truly prisoners. Another tale to share with you. Tell her the story of the Alley of Dangerous Angels. She listens to you about the Alley of Dangerous Angels and how it came to be. She seems to devour your every word. Then she smiles as you finish. I shall remember this tale, and now I have one for you. The Lady's Suitor. Go on. Wow, this is just an experience thing for just doing some dialogue. Just constant XP. The tale concerns a suitor of the Lady of Pain, one of many over the years. He was a young man who obsessed with the mistress of Sigil. He saw her everywhere in every corner of her city. He would hear the rustling of her robes, the scrape of her blades, and grew infatuated beyond all reason. He hoped that if he worshipped her, that he would at last be able to see her, and so worship her he did. I can already tell where this is gonna go. He was found dead on the blood-soaked steps of his own home, grievous stab wounds covering the whole of his body, but his eyes were open wide, and upon his lips were the triumphant smile. Got what he wanted in the worst way possible. I have another to share with you, the story of Ferrod. And she listens as you tell the story. She seems to devour your every word. As you finish, she smiles. I shall remember this, and now the tale I have for you. Once came a man who experienced the most beautiful thing in the multiverse. It was his intention to place the experience within one of the Civic Fest Hall's sensory stones, magical devices which held the feelings and memories of for an eternity, leaving them for others to partake of. But he thought about it. Would this bring shared? Would this be being shared dilute the experience? So he held it to himself. Precious thing that was, and aged with the memory. But as he aged, the memory became tarnished and beaten, and he could no longer recall the glory of the experience. Another story to share with you, the story of Ignis. Devour your every story as you finish, he smiles. I remember this tale now, if I have one for you. The execution. Once a murderer roamed Sigil streets, a black-hearted man by the name of Cossacks. He has been blessed by the Abyssal Mother so that no one could strike him with intent to harm, or they themselves would die. He reveled in this blessing, using it to start fights and murder anyone who crossed his path. During one of his murderous rages, he was captured by the Harmonium with nets and brought before the governors. The trial was short, final, yet Cossacks laughed at the proceedings, knowing that no one among them could harm him without dying horribly. At the final day of his trial, he was proclaimed guilty and sentenced to death. Cossack's sentence proclaimed by the governors was this: confinement for thrice 30 days, during which time you shall give up your life. Be declared dead, and your body removed then when all signs of life cease. Cossacks laughed and dared any of them to try and harm him, yet the court was silent. The mercy killers led Cossacks to the prison and locked him in a dark, empty cell. There was no cot, no lights, and only the door was a steel grate in the ceiling. As they lowered him into the cell, the mercy killer told him, "In the corner of your cell you will find a chalice. It holds poison. Your death will be swift." "Aren't you going to execute me?" Cossack snarled at the guard. "No one in Sigil shall lay a hand on you with intent to harm," came the mercy killer's reply. "Then I spit on your cowardice," the Cossacks laughed, feeling for the chalice in the darkness, then hurling it at the wall and shattering it. Its poison dripped from the walls and dried until it was nothing more. "Come then, you'll have to try and kill me now." There was no response from the gate in the ceiling. It was then that Cossacks noticed that the cell had no cot, no lights, no food and water. All that remained was the shattered chalice, the poison gone, and for the first time Cossacks knew the icy touch of death's approach. In twice 30 days, the gate was opened and Cossacks' body, now cold, was taken from the cell. It had given up its life, and exhaustion had been, and the execution had been carried out. Another tale to share with you. Ask your companions if they have a story to share. Go on, tell a story. Fine, fine. Our elder man was sitting alone in a dark path, right? He wasn't certain which direction to go. and he'd forgotten both where he was traveling to and where he was. He'd sat down for a moment to rest his weary legs, and suddenly looked up to see an elderly woman before him. She grinned toothlessly and with a cackle spoke. "Now your third wish, what will it be?" Third wish? The man was baffled. How can it be a third wish if I haven't spent the first and second wish? "You've had 2 wishes already," the hag said, "but your second wish was for me to return everything to the way it was before you had made your first wish. That's why you remember nothing, because everything is the way it was before you made any wishes." She cackled at the poor Burke, so it is that you have 1 wish left. "All right," said the man. "I don't believe this, but there's no harm in wishing. I wish to know who I am." "Funny," said the old woman as she granted his wish and disappeared forever. "That was your first wish." Interesting. I have one for you. The Fiend's game. A fiend sometimes wandered the wilderness of a certain prime world in the guise of a friendly old man. One day he came upon the hunters in the wood. "What are you doing?" the fiend asked. The hunters told the fiend, the fiend asked. The hunters told him, and the fiend nodded. "I have never been on a hunt before." The hunters invited the old man to come along, and the group eventually came upon a glade where several deer were grazing. The hunters carried crossbows but did not fire, and the fiend asked them why. They are unarmed," the hunters chuckled, patting their crossbows. "We hunt nothing that does not have the ability to defend itself. After all, where's the sport in that?" The fiend nodded at this and promptly gave in 3 of his fellows. The hunters led them on a merry chase, but eventually they were caught and eaten. I have another tale to share with you. Ask one of the companions to tell one. How about you, Anna? Do you have one? "I am no good at telling such things. I'm not." She frowns and waves her hands as if trying to shoo away the idea. "Don't be asking me such nonsense now." "You smile," said Anna, "but I would very much like to hear your story." "Please share your story." "Come on, Rory, fiendling, you've already had one tale you won't. You already have one tale you won't part with." She looks uncomfortable, her tail lashing slowly back and forth. "Well, I know one story." She suddenly becomes angry, glaring at Yves. "But you might not like it. You won't. No, so don't be blaming me if you're choking. If you're choking it out of you. Go ahead." She scowls and then finally relents with an exasperated sigh. "I heard a story when I was a wee lass. This Burke's walking home real late near anti-peaking faces an old toothless crone in a dark and always empty street. 'Where you going?' she asks. 'Home to me wife and a kip,' he says. 'Near the slags?' she asked him. 'Sure enough,' he says. So she asks him a favor, to take a box she's got to the dealer's pit and give it to the woman there. Now this Burke's a real sap, so nice to say, no despite the fact that he's sure something's not quite right about the old crone, and agrees. "Oh, what's the woman's name?" he asks. "Where does she live? Where should I look for her if she's not by the debtor's pit?" The woman hands him the box and the wooden thing wrapped in colored cloth and tells him just go and she'll be there. Finally she warns him, and whatever he does, do not open the box. So he takes it home with him and hides it in the rafters, thinking he'll bring it to the debtor's pit when it's light out. His wife, though, seeing him handling the box, gets right jealous, thinking it's a gift for her lover or something, and opens it up as soon as he's not looking. Well, it turns out the box is full of gouged out eyes and 7 male members with hair still on them. Her screams brought out the Burke running. He remembered that the crone said got right scared and wrapped the box back up. He went out straight away to the debtor's pit, and sure enough there was an old hag waiting there for him. He hands her the box and she says to him, "This box has been opened and looked into." The poor Brooks tries to deny it, but she gets this dreadful look on her face. "You done something horrible," she tells him, and then disappears. That done, he hurries back to his kit. He's feeling ill when he gets back and takes to bed. His wife bitterly regretted opening the box and all, but it was too late. The next day he died of rotten disease, and the first thing to go was his eyes and stem. Hannah nods grimly, her tale complete. That was interesting. Shouldn't have hesitated to share it. Now I've got one for you. The parched land. Once a large village was struck by a terrible drought. A farmer journeyed into the worshipping stone and again implored it to the cause of the drought. He asked the stone why it did nothing in the fields when it did nothing when the fields were parched and dying, why the animals and the people suffered while the stone did not a thing. "Have we not given enough offerings?" the farmer asked, begging almost upon his hands and knees. But the stone did not respond, it merely sat and cast its shadow. Another tale to share. One of my companions. Dekon, how about you? Dekon nods solemnly. I shall impart the tale of Archalai drowning. Dekon then tells the story of Archalai, a foolish Gasari of myth who had become lost in the chaos of limbo. Normally, a single Gasari may use their focus and mental discipline to form the chaos around them into a small, habitable environment. Achali, however, asked so many useless and unfocused questions in her quest to return home that her isle of matter dissolved around her, and she drowned. Let me share with you and your companion another version of your tale that I have heard. He looks attentive and perhaps a little surprised. Yves goes on to tell a different version of Dakon's tale, in which Ashalai was driven from the Gazari city of Shar-Ket-Lor for her constant and useless prattering. One day she encountered Slotty on its way to the spawning stone. She hastily erected a wall of chaos matter, which even the ravenous Slotty found difficult to break down. Hungrily it waited and spoke to her through the wall. She asked it questions, and as she became more Absorbed in her pointless queries and the Slotty's answers, her own wall decayed and collapsed upon her, and thus she was drowned in the matter of limbo. Well, that's been interesting. We'll end with this with some questions for her. This has been this has been an hour of just telling stories. What do you do here? I collect tales and trade them with others who have tales of their own. What other questions? Trying to find Vivian's scent. Do you know where it might be?
Updated my journal.
She shakes her head. Speak with Nenny. She is forever pacing about, observing everything intently. Another question. What can you tell me about this place? That is part of Mistress Grace's story, which is not mine to tell. She has said that when she nears the end of her years, she shall tell me, and only if I pledge never to share it with another. She hopes that she will never need to tell me her tale, for she hopes I will find my own story before that time and leave this place. I think she fears my life will be squandered in searching for this tale, and not acting upon what I already know. She sighs softly, but it cannot be helped. Your own story? Once upon a time a girl came to an oracle who was rumored to know many things and asked of it a boon. Her life was in need of direction, so she asked the oracle as to what would give her purpose. Now, the oracle was not evil, but it was vague and tended towards drink, which caused it to be obscure in many matters of judgment and focus. Its only answer to the girl's question was that within one story that she could hear in her lifetime was the truth that she sought. The girl went off and collected stories which she traces to this day, not knowing which of the thousands hold the truth. Such a danger of a foolish question, and the wisdom of an upspoken one. Another question. Why are you called Tail Chaser? Once upon a time, girl came upon an oracle who was rumored to know many things. Okay. Do you know anything about, No, we're not gonna go to the puzzle well yet. I'm interested in kind of finishing these side quests here to see if we can get the healer into our party. Never mind, actually. Farewell. With that being said, yeah, our hour is over for tonight. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you AB400 for joining in, I guess for a brief moment at least. And that's going to be our stream for tonight. We'll continue this again tomorrow with some more Planescape Torment as we do less stories and maybe actually do some more questing, more so than today. But we'll see. We'll see what they throw at us. We're 4 out of 10 done with talking to the girls that work here. But anyways, that's it for now. Thanks again, and I will see you all next time. Have a good night, and stay safe out there.